Hey, imaginary friend. Today we're gonna be making a mood board. Yay, fun. I meant to say vision board. Let's just start over. Today we're gonna be doing a fun little DIY project. We're gonna be making a vision board. I have all these goals and things that I'm like constantly working towards. I'm a very ambitious person, but sometimes it's so hard for the goals to feel real, if that makes sense. Like when they're just listed, in words in like a journal. I don't know. I don't know if you can relate to what I'm saying, but I just love having visual aids for everything. And I also feel like having a vision board is such a great way to help with manifesting those goals because it really just adds an extra layer of like tangibility. Like you can see it, you can visualize it a lot easier. And it's also just something that like when you have a physical vision board, which is what I'm gonna be making today, it's something that you're just gonna like see as you're going about your day. Like I plan to put mine in my bedroom so that every morning when I wake up, one of the first things that I see, it's gonna be right beside my daily meds. I'm gonna see like this visual reminder of like, oh, this is what you're working towards. This is what you're manifesting, this is what you're trying to create, which I just think is so powerful. Just being able to have that like visual aid, I think can make such a huge difference. Okay, so I kind of feel like most people are pretty familiar with like what a vision board is, but if you clicked on this video around the time that it's gonna be coming out, like in April of 2022, you probably had the thought of like, isn't it a bit late in the year to be making a vision board? I think it's usually the type of thing that people do in January, right? Like it's like, oh, new year, new start. People set all these big dreamy goals and create like a vision for the year. That's like the normal thing. But if you know me, I never do things the normal way. I love to be weird and quirky. But no, really what happened is that I always just feel like I have such a slow start to the year. And for me, the year doesn't really start until March. Like for many, many years of my life, I feel like I've always had like a lot of action and change and transformation start happening in March. Nothing really happens for me in January and February, just in my own personal life and experience. And one thing that I learned recently is actually that the astrology calendar, like the astrology new year, starts in March. It's like March 20th, I believe, which is fascinating. I don't really know much about astrology, so I'm not going to be talking about that too much, but I just find that fascinating that in my personal life, I've always experienced so much like transformation and change and refresh in March specifically. And one thing that I really like to do is kind of think about the year in quarters specifically. And rather than set like big yearly goals and yearly visions, I like to just make it a little bit more smaller, more manageable, and do quarterly goals and quarterly visions. I don't know if you can relate to this, but I just feel like a year is so damn long. Like 12 months, I mean, sometimes it kind of flies by, but honestly, a year is a very long time. It's so hard for me to like really, really picture like planning out my whole year. Like, I'm a business person, so sometimes I'll like listen to business podcasts and things where they talk about like their yearly launch plan and like yearly content calendar mapping. And I mean, obviously, they're not like planning out every single day to the T. And I know that there's a lot of flexibility when people talk about these things, but to me, it just sounds completely insane to, it sounds completely crazy to try to plan out an entire year. So that's why I'm doing a Q2 slash spring refresh slash astrology new year vision board. And I'm going to be talking about my goals for this quarter. Some of those goals are going to leak into the next quarter and just the whole year overall. But I really just like to keep my focus like constrained. I feel like that's something that's really common with me. Practicing constraint and making things just like small and manageable. I don't know, it helps me a lot. If you've ever made a vision board and found it a bit overwhelming, maybe doing a quarterly one, like just like one for each season, something like that, that might be something that can work for you. This is gonna be like a little bit janky, a little bit of a budget DIY. I'm just using stuff that I already had and like stuff that I could get at the local dollar store. I will leave the like materials and like very basic instructions in the description for this video below. So if you're interested in like just copying my method, you'll have details down there. This vision board is just using a old IKEA picture frame that I had lying around, as well as some scrap fabric that again I had lying around. Comment below if you can relate to buying a bunch of art supplies for things that you never end up doing. That's my entire life. I have a whole closet full of scrap fabric and glue. I wanted to use like foam or like batting or like something soft underneath the fabric, but the dollar store had like this cheap little yoga mat. It's made of foam. It's a very like, you know, flexible material. It worked out perfectly fine, I think, for what I need. But I think if you have the option of like going to a craft store, you'd probably be better off with like a more dedicated like foam material, not an old yoga mat. Okay, so this is the end result of my little DIY project. I'm actually quite happy with how this turned out. I'm like very pleasantly surprised because I wasn't following a tutorial or anything, just kind of like figuring it out. I used a freaking yoga mat for the foam, but it looks pretty good. So this is pretty cool. This might be something that I do again in the future. So what's cool about it is that, I mean, I'm kind of boring. I just chose a beige canvas for the backdrop. But what's cool about this, like doing my own DIY board, is that I could potentially use different colored fabrics and even like patterned fabrics or different textures. I can do a lot of really cool things with the actual backdrop in the future. So I think this is gonna be something that I do again, maybe. Okay, so first off, just in terms of the composition, I didn't actually plan out the composition ahead of time. I really just like made a Pinterest board that I thought was, you know, really representative of like my specific goals and like what I'm trying to like do in this season of my life. The composition is pretty simple and straightforward, which is very me. I like to keep things very simple and constrained. It really just helps me to like stay focused when I'm not like having to focus on like 25 different things. I think so many people have like all these like really elaborate visions, and there's this kind of feeling that there's like a deadline, like you have to do it all right now. It all has to be done like this year. And that just feels so overwhelming to me. So I like to like keep it kind of simple, focus on like one or two really big things, and then have a couple of like smaller goals or like more passive goals. So yeah, let's go into the actual specific things on my vision board. So the first at the top here, we have just the word creativity. This is kind of like the idea of the word of the year, which is a concept that I first heard, I think, probably like 100 years ago on the Being Boss podcast. I think that's where I first heard of this concept of just having like a word that is meant to like represent the vibe for the year. And I really love that idea. It used to be something that I did like for a couple of years, but I actually haven't done it probably since COVID. I feel like everything changed in 2020. But I think I want to get back into this practice of just having like a word to focus on. So I picked creativity because I'm in a very like creation phase of my life. I'm in like a building phase. I'm building lots of things. I'm creating my business. It's not like 100% new, but it's still relatively new. I'm still creating my primary products. I'm still creating my brand. I'm still creating, you know, like my content and like kind of my vision. So I think creativity just like really accurately represents like what I'm trying to do right now. So then underneath that, there is this really gorgeous picture of a really neutral brown tan living room. One of my goals is to kind of like revamp my living room. I don't know if you can tell if you've like watched my other videos or just by like the background and my shirt. I have a lot of beige in my life. Almost everything I own is beige. Everything I buy is beige, which is great. Like I love beige, but like it can make things feel a little bit bland. I don't have a lot of contrast in a lot of my like home decor and things like that, which is changing recently. Like I'm starting to get more into black, which is kind of new for me. I didn't have any black clothes for like years, and then like recently I've started to buy black again, which sucks when like everything you own is beige because there's just like lint all over everything, like just beige lint. It's a process, but to kind of stay on the point, I just wanted to add like a little bit more contrast and kind of like redecorate kind of my living room and my home in general, just to like have a bit more going on than just beige. And I really like this palette of like beige and brown. Still very neutral vibes. I like to keep everything neutral. Kind of like what I was talking about earlier, just feeling very constrained actually is great for me because it helps me to not feel overwhelmed. And that's what I love about like really neutral color palettes is they're kind of a blank canvas. They can be very flexible. They're not overwhelming, and I don't have to worry about like I'm in love with this color this month, but like am I still going to love it 6 months from now? That kind of thing. Because contrary to what it might seem like based on my branding and my image, I actually love color. I love so many colors. I'm obsessed with color. That's one of the great things about being a designer, but I'm also so fickle when it comes to color. I'll like be madly in love with a color for like a couple weeks or a couple months, and then I will just be sick of it, completely sick of it. Everything that I own in that color needs to go away. And that has happened to me so much throughout my life. And that's why in recent years, I've decided to just like go neutral. Like all of my clothes are beige and now black. And like I'm starting to incorporate a bit more like tan and brown. I went off on a tangent there, but that's what that picture's about. And the next step is just like a reminder for me. It is okay that not everyone will like me. That is probably one of the most difficult lessons that I've had to learn in the past couple of years, but it is okay. I have to just believe that, there are going to be people out there who will like me. I hope. I still have this fear in the back of my head that like, I mean, I know it's okay for like other people to just be themselves, but like, is it okay for me? Like, is it really okay for me to just be myself? I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying it out and just reminding myself that like, it is okay that I'm not going to be just for everyone. It's okay for people to be wrong about me. If you don't like me, you're wrong, and that's fine. And then the next image is this beautiful woman. Okay, so this is just the vibe. Like, can you tell that I was like trying? I was trying to like capture the look with this like super sleek bun that I have going on. In love with this look. So there's like a little bit of a story behind this picture. Like it's not just a random picture that I got on the internet. It's from the Aritzia like email list. Like I don't even shop that often. I don't buy clothes all that often, but I stay subscribed to certain email lists just like from a branding perspective. I like to see like what big companies do with their email marketing, which makes me sound weird, but whatever. I'm a designer. Okay, I'm a designer. But anyway, so I'm subscribed to the Aritzia email list, and I remember getting this email, and like, I don't know, I had such a visceral reaction to seeing this model. She's freaking gorgeous, and I feel like I've never seen a model before with my body type. Like, this is probably gonna come across like really weird. Like, I don't even know if it's that profound, but for me, I had such a like dramatic reaction to seeing like this model in their like email because I feel like I have like a very just like medium body, or like maybe that's a large body. I don't know. But I feel like with like a lot of plus size models, like often they're a lot larger than me. So it's difficult for me to like really see myself in those models. And then with like traditional, like, regular models, they're a lot thinner than me. So I feel like I've never like just been online shopping and seen someone with my exact body type. She's got the hips, she's got the thighs, and she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's undeniably, and she looks hot. Like that outfit. Anyway, this is the look. This is the vibe. is basically why she's on the board. I mean, she obviously doesn't look exactly like me, but like, I don't know. She's gorgeous. I'm gorgeous. You're gorgeous. Okay, so underneath that is build a magnetic brand. So it's a twofold thing. So it's the name of the course that I sell that I'm going to be launching sometime this month in April 2022, if you're watching this in real time. And it's like just like honestly the most amazing course. Like I basically put everything that I know about like branding, everything that I've learned over the years as a business owner, like what it takes to like build the kind of brand that people are obsessed with, like the kind of brand where like there's brand loyalty, people will like talk about, if you're a business owner, you know how important branding is, and like having that like really strong customer loyalty and that customer relationship, that like that is what building a brand does. So build a magnetic brand is basically like all of my expertise, all of my knowledge about branding, and just building a business in general. And I'm so excited to launch it. So that's like my big focus for this quarter, is like making it the best course that it can be. Adding like just everything that you need to know for someone who's starting a business, or if you're rebranding your business, or if you just want to like elevate your business. I just want to make it like literally like everything you need to set yourself up for success. So that's why that's on there. And then also it's like a reminder for myself because I am also building a magnetic brand, which this is going to sound so weird, but I'm definitely one of those people that is great at giving really fantastic advice and guidance and information, but I'm not that great at following it myself. I'm sorry. Uh, which I don't know if that makes me a hypocrite or what, but I think it's very common actually. Like as a designer, it's so hard for me to like kind of like keep my brand standards, because I love design. So I like constantly want to like rebrand my entire business. I want to like constantly be like changing things, and like as a brand strategist, I can let you know it is not really that smart to constantly be rebranding. Like I think doing it like when you're like kind of in the early stages is fine, and like maybe every couple of years, but like you should not be rebranding every 6 months, okay? Please do not do that. So I wanted this visual reminder to myself that like I am building a magnetic brand, and one of the components of what makes a brand magnetic is that it's recognizable. And in order to be recognizable, there has to be a certain degree of consistency to it. It doesn't have to be like, I mean, I have a complicated relationship with the word consistency, which maybe I'll talk about in another video, but there has to be a certain degree of consistency in order to have a vibe, right? Like you can't just have everything be all over the place. Like that's not how you build a magnetic brand. So that is what that's about. And if you are interested in the course, I will have, details in the description box below. And also I'll be talking about it more in future videos. It hasn't launched yet. I'm really, really just trying to like perfect it right now, but it's coming soon. So the next thing is just this like quote that I really like. Creative people need time to sit around and do nothing. I really, really need this reminder, and I really had to put this on my vision board because I think there's this like tendency to like put like all these big like action oriented goals, or these really big um like tangible things that we want. Like, I want a fancy house, and I want uh, honestly, I don't know what people want. I'm not like a super like materialistic person. I'm like trying to like, what do people want? Watches? Do people want watches? I just want some time to sit around and do nothing. Like that is one of the things that I'm trying to cultivate this quarter, is just having a lot more downtime. I want to have some more rest time. And not even necessarily like going on a trip or taking a vacation or anything like that. I mean, the quote is very simple. I just want some time to sit around and do nothing. So that is one of my main things, at least for this quarter. And then underneath that, first of all, isn't this picture just like such a vibe? Oh my God, this photographer did her job, or their job. I actually don't know if it's a woman. This photographer did their job. Like, damn. Basically, I don't work out at all. I'm a very like lethargic, is that the word? Sedentary? I'm a very sedentary person. I need to get active. So this is just my one of my goals for the quarter, is to like start moving my body. And then the last thing is these super gorgeous roller skates that cost $2,600. They are so expensive, but I'm like low-key madly in love with them. They're beautiful. They're so gorgeous. I want them. I'm not even that good of a skater. I started skating last year. Obviously, didn't everyone? Like literally didn't everyone start skating during the pandemic? Whatever. I'm not unique, but it's so much fun, and it's something that like I kind of dropped it towards the end of last summer because I started getting busy. And I'm someone who like really like I prioritize work and creativity and just like what I'm building so much in my life, but sometimes it means that I don't really spend a lot of time like outside. I don't spend a lot of time exercising. I don't spend a ton of time just like having fun, which is not a healthy balance. So yeah, this last one is just a reminder that like, you know, I want to have some fun. I want to pick up skating again this summer. And yeah, I just want to like actually enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the summer, go out and skate. And eventually, you know, spend $2,600 on these specific skates, which is quite a bit of money. I already have skates, so like I don't need them in order to like, you know, realize the goal of like skating more and going outside more. But I do want these specific skates very much, very badly. I hope that they will still be available when I'm ready to drop $2,600 on a pair of shoes. That is not something that I do. That's not my life yet. That was fun, right? Thank you so much for listening to me rambling on and on about my goals. I hope that it was entertaining for you. If you enjoyed this video, comment below and let me know, because I love external validation. And I want to know that you know, had fun with me. And also, if you haven't made a vision board yet this year, it is not too late. Go ahead and do it. Follow my, you know, janky DIY. Just grab a cheap yoga mat and an old picture frame and you're good. Yeah, all right. Bye, imaginary friend.